nchi ifuatayo. Tena nchi ifuatayo Canada, Montreal. Kwa sababu ni ambao makao makuu ya taasisi yetu ambayo inasimamia Tanzania ipo kwa kwenda pale kwanza meeting na members. Yeah, so I'll be there. Nadhani next. Yeah, since 2018. Yeah. So that's it. For who you need, who you need. I can have coffee. So yeah, we have attendance from Zindi Africa, and Celina Lee is going to start on the presentation for like 5 minutes. 30 minutes. So Zephyr, please welcome for moderation.
Hi, Celine.
Hi. How are you?
Sorry for the wait. You're welcome.
Thank you. Can you enable sharing on the screen?
Yeah. Yeah, let me do that. And we have Nelson here.
Hi, Nelson.
So you're welcome. I think you can share your screen now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Great. Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here at the Enhanced Mind AI conference. My name is Celina Lee, and I'm the CEO and co-founder at Zindi. Zindi is, simply put, the leading professional network for data scientists in Africa. Simply, in a way, you can say that we are like a LinkedIn for data scientists, but much more. And I'm going to explain why. It's a shame that I'm not able to be there in person. I really wish I was there. And I think what I wanted to share with you, I was realizing today, is that Dar es Salaam was actually the first city that we went to after launching Zindi. We launched Zindi 4 years ago in September 2018. And in October 2018, I was there in Dar es Salaam because we realized that once we launched the platform, the first thing we needed to do was go out and meet the stakeholders, meet the data scientists, meet the companies that are looking for data science skills and solutions. So we went to Dar es Salaam, and one of the first meetings that I had was at a major bank in the city. And I sat down with their team and I explained to them what we were building with Zindi, that we were creating a platform where data scientists across Africa could join and solve problems for companies like theirs. And what they said to me is, they said, Celina, that's very nice and all, but the problem we have in Tanzania is that we don't have any data scientists. And so you can imagine, and that was 4 years ago. So of course the ecosystem was very different back then, but still, even though it was a reasonable assumption, it was still a wrong assumption. And you can imagine how excited I was to be able to open up my laptop right then and there in the meeting and show them the leaderboard on Zindi and show them that we had data scientists in Tanzania. And the reason why I knew that we had people on the platform already was because at the same time, we were running our first AI data science hackathon in Tanzania in partnership with D-Lab. So that was 4 years ago. We ran our first, and I know many of you right now are participating in a Zindi hackathon at the moment on churn prediction. We ran our first data science hackathon in Tanzania at D-Lab in 2018. And we had over 40 participants. We had people joining from Arusha. It was a really incredible event. And that was the first time that I met Davis, who I think many of you would recognize. And what was even more exciting to me now looking back 4 years ago is that I recognized that in that 1 day, 2 day hackathon, that was actually the first stepping stone for many of the people who were there that day into a really incredible career of data science, which is still growing. But I know at least a handful of people who started their data science career, or at least kickstarted it and accelerated it that day. And so the challenge that I asked myself, or I asked my team at Zindi, or I ask all of you here, is how do we make sure that that story is not just for a few people, but actually a story that thousands of people can tell in Tanzania, millions of people can tell in Africa. And this is an important question because what we recognize across the world is that the demand for data science skills, talents, and solutions is just exploding. And in the last year alone, the demand for data science professionals increased by tripled, and the market size is immense. For AI solutions right now, the market value is at $50 billion a year. And we at Zindi, we think of data science as, as the tools, the platforms, even the compute becomes more accessible to people anywhere. We estimate that there's probably about 80 million people around the world today that are in need of building up their data science skills and need and able to build up their data science skills. And this is just the picture today. Data science is growing at over 30% year on year. So this is why we created Zindi. We created Zindi in order to make sure that data science and AI is accessible to everyone. So today on the platform, we have over 50,000 data scientists registered on Zindi, covering 180 countries around the world. And that includes 51 out of the 54 countries in Africa. So when a data scientist, like any of you who are in the room, who join a hackathon on Zindi, you're able to, one, enter global challenges like the one that you're solving today, where you're able to sharpen your skills, apply skills to real world data sets, real problems that companies actually have. And in this process, you're also building up your own portfolio of work that you're able to do. Secondly, you're also able to access valuable learning content. And I don't know if some of you have checked out, like on the learning section, there's tutorials, there's starter notebooks, and probably even more importantly, there's mentorship that's available across the platform just by virtue of being a part of this community. Third, as you build up your skills and your track record and even your networks, you're able to use this profile that you're building up and the skills you're building up to qualify for jobs that are in your own market. And then finally, what a lot of the data scientists on Zindi tell us is that the real reason why they come back to Zindi, month on month, week on week, day to day, is because at Zindi they found a home, they found a place where they can connect with like-minded people who they can learn from, and actually lifelong friendships even. And I'm going to dig into some of these with specific examples. But just first to tie it up, and actually Darius, just full disclosure, Darius works for Zindi now because he's just incredible, but some of you might recognize him on the leaderboard at Zindi as Brainiac. He was one of the top data scientists on the platform. And his story is incredible because he has a degree in economics, not data science or mathematics, but in economics. And he spent many years working at a bank in customer service. He at one point decided that he wanted to pursue data science. He joined a boot camp at Moringa. He's taken online courses, but even then, in that process, he still was struggling to land his first job as a data scientist. And then he found Zindi. He started to move his way up the leaderboard, enter different challenges, and build his skills in natural language processing, in computer vision, in forecasting. And he made his way up the leaderboard. And while he was essentially unemployed for, I think, maybe 2 years while he was looking for a job, he was actually building up a really strong profile, and at the same time mentoring other people on the platform. And through that, he was actually able to get an incredible job at one of the leading banks in Kenya. So I wanted to take you through a couple of examples of what I was highlighting, that there's global challenges, there's learning and mentorship, there's jobs, and just to illustrate kind of how this all ties together, in a really incredible way. So we've run over 100 challenges on Zindi, anything from natural language processing to computer vision to normal classification challenges. So this is just one of the ways that we can really illustrate the way AI is impacting our daily lives in Africa. So we partnered with the South African National Roads Authority. Our office is based here in Cape Town, where I am. And we met with, they're called SANRAL. So we met with SANRAL, and they explained that they have a limited number of first responders or ambulances that they can deploy across the city. And not only that, because of traffic patterns and just the layout of the city, it's not, you know, one of the most critical elements of their jobs is to reduce that time between the time of an accident to the time that the first responders arrive on the scene. And what's incredible is that SANRAL has been collecting that data. They collect the data on the GPS coordinates of where each accident happens, the time, you know, the exact date and time, the location, and then when the accident happened to when the first responders arrives on the scene. And the more and more they can close that gap, that's really, every second is the difference between life and death at that point. So we partnered with them to run a challenge on Zindi, to call on the community to build algorithms that could predict down to a 500-meter radius and down to the hour where the next accident would occur. We ran this on Zindi as a challenge. We ran a few in-person hackathons as well here in Cape Town. We had, I think, over 1,000 data scientists, and this was also in partnership with Uber. And so we had over 1,000 data scientists enter this challenge, make submissions onto the platform. We took in tens of thousands of submissions. And by the end, we had the top 3 solutions that we were able to hand over to SANRAL. And through this, they're able to essentially incorporate this into their dispatch center and their process so that they can actually locate where the first responders should be positioned any day of the any day of the week, any hour of the day. And what was really exciting is that the top winner was actually a local person here in Cape Town, and he was invited to their offices to present his solutions. So this is just one example of many. Secondly, I wanted to highlight something else that I talked about skills and mentorship. And this is where community becomes incredibly important. So I showed this picture earlier of D-Lab and Davis. Davis is one of our longest serving Zindi ambassadors. At the time when I met him, I think we had maybe 5 ambassadors, and today we have over 100 ambassadors across the continent. Davis, in one of the early conversations I had with him, and sorry, Davis, if you're in the room, I'm putting you on the spot, but in one of the early conversations with you, I remember that he said that, you know, one of the most impactful things was that he himself had a mentor that helped him break into the field of AI. And I can see where, you know, Davis now has also mentored hundreds of people. He's, you know, he as a Zindi ambassador, he's running hackathons, workshops, traveling across the country, meeting university students. And this is, I guess this is really the heart of Zindi. This is like this is the engine of Zindi. And, you know, and I'm really excited to say that now we have over 100 ambassadors across the continent doing similar work. And one of the most impactful stories to me was that during the time of COVID, when everyone was locked down and you know, a lot of people were in their homes and figuring out what to do, Zindi became kind of a home of learning and community. And at this time, Davis actually built the first data set of news in Swahili language news articles, and a data set that was ready for natural language processing, for classification of topics of these news articles. And so with this data set, we actually ran a number of hackathons, and one of the most recent hackathons that we ran using this data set, and he's continued to build a data set, which is just an incredible, valuable asset in the world of natural language processing. We ran a hackathon across East Africa. So it's not just Tanzania, but it was Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda. You know, all of East Africa was able to sharpen their natural language processing skills on a local language data set, which is just incredible. And then finally, how does this all tie together to kind of the end goal? In the end, I talked about how the demand for data science skills has tripled in the last year. I mean, it's just skyrocketing globally and on the continent. So to just give you one example of how this all ties together, we were recently, or well, this was a couple years ago, we were approached by GSMA, by the tech lead at GSMA. He was based in the UK, but they were starting an office in the DRC. He was looking for a data scientist that was based in Kinshasa, in the capital in DRC. His ask was reasonable, but still hard. He was struggling to find someone in DRC that met these requirements. 3 years of experience, some experience with GIS data, data visualization. He needed someone who could speak French and English. So these were all important requirements that he was really not able to find on his own. So he came to Zindi. We sent a call out to all of our data scientists in DRC, and within a week, we had about 14 applicants. Of those 14 applicants, we handed them over to him, and he chose 3 to interview, and he finally, in the end, made a job offer to Jeff, who was the perfect candidate. I mean, he had joined Zindi 2 years ago. He had a track record on Zindi. He had a master's in applied mathematics from Ames. He had 3 years of experience. He ticked all of the boxes, spoke French and English. And when I spoke to Jeff, it was also incredible because he was explaining how after graduating with his master's in applied mathematics, going back home to the DRC, he was not able to find a job. He was actually teaching math at the local university because he also was struggling to find opportunities that spoke to what his interests were in data science. So that was just a really exciting outcome of what what both a company and what a data scientist like Jeff could do on a platform like Zindi. So just finally, I want to say that we're all incredibly excited about the promise of data science and AI. I think that's why we're all here at the conference today. But to me, what's important is that in order for AI to truly live up to its promise and the promise of how AI will change everyone's lives, like to make sure that it's actually a force for good, we need to make sure that everyone has a seat at the table. From the way that data is collected to the way the solutions are built to even the executives sitting around the boardroom table, we need to make sure that there is space for everyone, whether we're talking about race, gender, geography. AI as a global field needs to make sure that it's as represented, that the people whose lives are going to be impacted by AI, which is all of us, everybody, are also represented at every stage of the solution building process. And I hope that, the next time that I sit down with a bank in Tanzania, my dream is that they know immediately that there are data scientists in Tanzania. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Celine. Thank you so much for the insights about Zindi Africa. So I'd like to hear if you have any questions or any inputs from audience, and then we will continue. So if anyone has a question, yeah, I think you can begin.
Yeah, I just want to ask about if you're Zindi and building a profile, what do you think is the normal? How many competitions would it take for me to be recognized?
That's a great question. How many competitions? If you even enter one and make it onto the leaderboard, you are doing amazing. You're doing better than, you're already in the top 25%. So I would say just get to that first, get your name on that first leaderboard. Aside from that, I would say probably when I look at the profiles and when potential employers are looking at the profiles, they get excited when they see maybe like 3 to 5 at least on your profile. It starts to show that you have a pattern and a track record. And especially if you're kind of, well, I was going to say if you're building up in certain specialties, that also helps. But at the same time, I think that it's a curious mind that that really leads to success. So it's also good to have like a range of different topics. You know, so I think, but I would say 3 to 5 is good. And then also, you know, we're running a Trailblazers. Okay, it's closed, but just keep it up. But I would say that, you know, we recently ran what we call the Trailblazers competition, where if you entered and got onto the leaderboard, you automatically got put into kind of a short list that we've been presenting to potential employers. But so keep your eye out for that. We'll let the community know when we do another Trailblazers. But that's a fantastic question. Oh, also team up with people and contribute on the discussion forums. That's also something that shows up on your profile as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Celine. So I have another question here in my hand. So the question is that are all data scientists from Tanzania passionate, or are they joining because of money? Like they expect to earn money. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, you know what? I think we all want money, and it's fine. So I think so the first stop, it's not just the prize money. This is what is important to remember. It's not just the prize money that you win in that competition, but it's the career that you're building and the economic opportunities that you're opening up, you know, by raising your profile as a potential, you know, data scientist for the next bank or the telco or even a startup. So I think that's important to remember. But that being said, you know, we have 50,000 people on the platform. There's only a handful that are making prize money. And what I take from that is that the majority of people are really, and we also did a survey of our users. I know that the majority of people are there on Zindi to learn, to build up their skills.
Okay, thank you so much. So I have another thing here. Someone is asking if there is any fee to join or to participate in hackathons, like in Zindi hackathons, challenges, and mentorship.
No, there's no fee. Everything is free. So yeah, we wanted, like I said, our goal is to make AI accessible to everyone. So everyone can join. Anyone can join, and whether you're a beginner, you're a student, you know, up to an expert.
Thank you so much. So this is the last one, I think. So is Zindi having any plan to incorporate data science into universities, like doing partnership with universities to introduce data science courses?
Yeah, we do want to. We have Umoja Hack. So Umoja Hack Africa is the largest AI hackathon in Africa. This is where we have all of the universities from across the continent participate, university students from across the continent participate. Last year, we had over 325 universities represented. This coming March will be the next Umoja Hack Africa. So that's one place where definitely universities should get involved. We are asking universities to host, you know, so it's a 2-day event. We're asking them to host students in person there, and then we will do a live stream across all the different campuses. So if there are any university representatives there, please do reach out to me. I would love for the universities to get involved with Umoja Hack Africa. And then that being said, we would love to look at more deeper partnerships throughout the year.
Thank you so much. So this is my question, I can say. So what's the important thing Zindi look at when they are hiring data scientists?
So, and it's not just Zindi, you know, because for Zindi, we have a relatively small data science team, but now that I've talked to a lot of companies that are hiring data scientists, I think that, you know, the two categories that people talk about a lot are the technical skills and the soft skills. And you really need to develop both, because I've heard from employers, you know, sometimes they say that, you know, that you can get people with technical skills, but they don't end up succeeding in the workplace because their communication, their teamwork, or, you know, especially communication skills are not that strong. On the other hand, I've also heard that, you know, the other way around. So anyway, I think that that's the most important, to make sure that your technical skills are sharp, and you can do that by participating in platforms like Zindi, especially, you know, because in a way, like what we are closing the gap on is that you can take courses. So that's one, you take courses, but then two, you need to make sure that you're able to apply what you're learning to real world solutions, to real world problems and situations. So that's where a Zindi can help you. And then on the soft skills, I think, one of the things that we require of our winners now is that they record a video explaining their solution. And so I would also encourage all of you, if you participate in a Zindi competition, even the hackathon you're doing right now, even if you don't win, and even if I don't ask you for a video, you might consider recording a 5-minute video explaining your solution.
Okay, thank you so much, Celina. We highly appreciate your presence and the keynote
You're
and
welcome.
all the insights you provided to us, and we highly expect more to come in collaboration. So thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Round of applause, please.